Let's get ready to rumble! Fight night's finest. Let's step in the ring where the lights are blinded. I'm about to just knock you out. Now your mouthpiece, you cannot find it. You cannot face the weather. Warming up like May's weather. Super fast like Mayweather. You cannot put your face together. Cause my hands is lightning speed. I don't really think people wanna fight with me. You'll likely flee like Frazier from Foreman. Guaranteed tonight you'll bleed. Looking like I swiped your feet from under you. I'm like Tyson Beast. I punish you. I don't think that there's nothing your freaks are gonna do but sleep.
We have secured the rights to our co-main event. What is good, boxing fans and gamers from Atlantic City, New Jersey? We are in the Boardwalk Hall Arena tonight for our co-main event scheduled for 10 rounds. Julio Cesar Chavez versus James Lights Out Tony. This ought to be a great and epic match. Julio Cesar Chavez, aka Loco-P420, tonight brings that 708 wins and 526 losses record to the ring here tonight. He looks confident as he sways back and forth on his way down to the ring. The fans are pumped. I'm pumped, and we'll be joined shortly by my co-host Arachnidsoul in a few moments. But first, we have to take a look at the other man walking down to the ring in just a few moments. There he is, James Lights Out Tony, with that green and gold that he wore against John Ruiz for that WBA heavyweight title match. He carries a record of 321 wins and 93 losses in the head-to-head scene. James Lights Out Tony, considered by many to be the greatest, if not the greatest, counterpuncher of all time throughout any weight class, which is an honor for that man. We'll take a look one more time as the fighters, as they finally made their way into the ring. Julio Cesar Chavez, aka Loco-P420, brings a brawling style, but he's been known to be making some adjustments in the gym. And James Tony, aka Fight Night's Finest, brings a jack of all trades style to the ring tonight. He's solid in every department of the game and considered by many to be one of the greatest sim fighters. We now listen to the referee's instructions as both men meet up in the center of the ring and head back to their respective corners after touching gloves.
You hear that opening bell? What's going on, boxing fans? Joined for color commentary, your analysis of these two championship quality boxing matches tonight. It is your co-host, Arachnidsoul. Julio Cesar Chavez going full blast early on. No disrespect to Mr. Lights Out James Tony. Ducking out a little bit. Early round feeling out process, Fight Night. How do you see this thing playing out?
Well, we talked about this while both fighters were walking down to the ring. I see this as a match that can be won early by Julio Cesar Chavez if he can catch the slick James Tony here tonight in the ring. We know Loco-P420 likes to bring that brawling style to the ring, but like I mentioned in the pre-analysis, that this man has been in the gym. He has been working, not on his brawling style, but working on some other things in the gym. He's been working on his ability to counterpunch, to slip punches like we saw moments ago, and to use the footwork, to use the outside, to use the jab in order to set up his offense and have a much tighter defense. He switches to that Philly shell defense tonight and efforts to block some of the attack that we'll see from James Tony. And from James Tony, like we mentioned, he is a jack of all trades. He's good on the inside. He prefers to be on the inside, but is an excellent counterpuncher as well, and can also box, can move around the ring, can use that jab. Fight Night's Finest, a master of the game.
Now, when we talk about traditional boxing training, when you talk about the fundamentals, not only of boxing, but Muay Thai, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, what have you, a lot of guys go into a gym, they think they're going to be hitting a bag, they think they're going to be sparring on day one, 15 seconds left in the opening round. And what they actually find is that the trainer does conditioning training. I bring that point up to talk about Loco-P420, the man fighting tonight as Julio Cesar Chavez. To me, he's almost gone about things backwards, but it's worked out for him. We do hear the corner men, no disrespect to them, but let me finish this point. Loco-P420, a man who, in my opinion, didn't work out first on stamina, on conditioning. He learned how to throw the punches. He learned the punches and bunches. He learned the combinations. It's now that he's gotten really good at this game that he's going back. He's learning the stamina, the conditioning game, and we're going to be very interested in seeing if that works out for Loco-P420 here tonight in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Well, that's an excellent point that was made about the stamina. We do know that Loco-P420 tends to fall off in terms of his conditioning in the later rounds, and it's not because of the fact that he does not work hard, that he does not do his road work, that he doesn't go for those jogs in 5 in the morning. It's because of the fact he brings a very aggressive style to the table. He brings that volume punching. He likes to throw 5, 6 punches in a row and try to land as many power shots to get his man out of there by round number 5. Almost reminds you a little bit like a Mike Tyson. A little bit maybe like Ernie Shavers with that power punching ability, and a lot less like George Foreman, who used to pick his shots and can get rid of you with one lightning bolt of a punch.
And I'd like to remind everyone joining us right now live in the chat room, please tweet out the link. We are interactive. This is 100% live commentary. Also, if you're watching these great fights on demand, if you're watching the video the day after, the week after, the month after, once again, hit the like, hit the comment, leave a subscribe, leave a comment, excuse me, easy for me to say, and also share it on Twitter. Round number 2 here. We are seeing a more aggressive style in the second round from Fight Night's Finest, aka James Lights Out Tony. In the first round, he was more defensive, had his helmet on. He was a little bit more cautious, and now I'm seeing him engage a little bit. It's been very interesting to see how a man who usually uses the first 4 rounds as the feeling out process, not that he's not doing it, but I am seeing him become a little bit more aggressive, a little bit earlier than usual.
Well, we've heard from Fight Night's Finest in the past that sometimes he likes to take the time out to go ahead and test something if he sees something that might be open for him, and I think that's exactly what he's doing now. Maybe he wants to feel out how Loco responds to pressure, testing out what Loco said, if it's true, if he's been working on that defense, if he's been working on, wait a minute, he got stunned by that left hook. Here comes the combinations. Loco-P420 going balls deep with that left hand, but he's not able to land anything. James Toney with that solid defense. We even saw a little bit of head movement from Toney, able to get away from the punches, and here he comes with an onslaught of his own, lands the power straight, side step uppercut connects, 2 hooks, 4, 5, 6 punches in a row to end round number 2, possibly trying to get some of those points back. What did you think about that trade, and who do you think captured that round based on the trade, Arachnid?
I've got to say, and purely just based on that trade, Loco-P420, Julio Cesar Chavez at the end of that round coming out strong. I also have to give credit to Fight Night's Finest. Probably the early part of that round, I would have given it to him. Even when he got rocked towards the end of the round, he did put his helmet on. He got that guard up. He backed up. It was very smart. You do not want to get dropped this early. You do not want to lose a round by 2 points this early on. Fight Night's Finest, still aggressive, still determined, will come back as we enter round number 3. But keep your eyes on Julio Cesar Chavez. Keep your eyes on Loco-P420. The combinations now added to the stamina.
Yeah, that's a great point, Arachnid. I want to mention something. The one thing that tends to happen when you fall behind early is you're not as confident. Some fighters tend to be shaken once they get knocked down. They lose the confidence in the game plan because they feel like there was an error, there was a mistake in the game plan, or maybe they just didn't execute it right, and they tend to follow the game plan even more heavily and are scared to make adjustments afterwards. We will need to see if Fight Night's Finest will become tentative, which I think he is doing. We see that footwork, we see that jab, and we see him not with those volume punches. Loco-P420 also trying to establish his jab in this round.
Now, basically, if I can get into the head of Fight Night's Finest, I believe what happened is he went into this fight with that traditional feeling out process, like I said. He thought that he got a good view of what Loco-P420 was bringing into this fight, but in round number 2, he saw Loco-P420 bringing a little bit more than he thought, and it's because of that that we are now seeing a more cautious Fight Night's Finest, who was rocked in that last round. We are seeing more exchanges here, but I do believe Fight Night's Finest is still not on his bicycle in a bad way, but being a little bit apprehensive as compared to what we saw in round number 2.
Yeah, he's boxing a lot smarter in this round. He's taking a lot less risk. We're not seeing as many combinations, but when he does throw combinations, he's making sure that Loco cannot trade back, cannot throw back, and go for that signature punch. We didn't talk much about the signature punches of these men tonight, but Loco likes to bring that power right hook to the head, the power left hook to the head. He's a master of those hooks. He reminds you a little bit of Smoking Joe, who used to bring that power left hook upstairs to the head. We're coming down to the last 20 seconds before we break to commercial. What do you see in Arachnid?
This is going to be an amazing last 10 seconds to watch. Fans, we've got more action. Stay with us. Tweet it out. We will be right back after this commercial break. Soul and Fight Night.
Most guys were just pretty much intimidated. They lost the fight before they even got hit. Most guys. I knew the art of skullduggery. These guys, I knew how to beat these guys psychologically before I even got in the ring with them.
When I come out, I have supreme confidence. I'm scared to death. I'm totally afraid. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of losing. I'm afraid of being humiliated. But I'm totally confident. The closer I get to the ring, the more confidence I get. The closer, the more confidence I get. The closer, the more confidence I get. All during my training, I've been afraid of this man. I thought this man might be capable of beating me. I've dreamed of him beating me. But I always stayed afraid of him. But the closer I get to the ring, I'm more confident. I walk around the ring, but I never take my eyes off my opponent. I keep my eyes on him, even if he's ready and pumping. He can't wait to get his hands on me as well. I keep my eyes on him. I keep my eyes on him. I keep my eyes on him. Fight hard for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but I know I already broke his spirit. During the fight, I'm supremely confident. I'm moving my head, he's throwing punches. I'm making them miss and I'm countering. I'm hitting him to the body, I'm punching him real hard. And I'm punching, when I'm punching him, I know he's not able to take my punches. 1, 2, 3 punches, I'm throwing him punches in bunches. He goes down, he's out. I'm victorious. I'm in the ring, I'm a god. No one could beat me.
We are back from commercial break, and we would like to take a look at Arachnid scorecards in just a second, but we would like you to check out Dave the Rip One, youtube.com/Dave the Rip One for that epic channel trailer. Go ahead and check him out in the description if you would like to subscribe. Arachnid, take it away.
Well, I mean, we just looked at my scorecard. I do have Loco-P420, a.k.a. Julio Cesar Chavez, up by 1 point. I've got to think it was that time in round number 2 when Fight Night's Finest got rocked that swayed my vote slightly. But I mean, 1 point when we're in round number 4, the early goings of a potential 10 rounds. That's not an end game for either fighter. God, look at the work rate in this encounter.
Yeah, the action is really starting to heat up in this 4th round. Both guys are starting to go ball to wall. We see Loco getting the better of these exchanges, though. There goes that power right hook that was countered by Fight Night's Finest with the sidestep uppercut. And the action is so fast, I cannot attempt to call all of it. Just know that both of these men are working the head and the body. Both of these men do believe that if you punish the body, the head will follow.
Now at this point, Fight Night's Finest, he's got Loco-P420 scouted, as does Loco-P420 in terms of Fight Night's Finest. I wonder if Fight Night's Finest, though, would like to be going to the body a little bit more than he's been successful with here. I wonder if he wants to drain that man's stamina, because maybe in scouting him, maybe he's seen that Loco-P420 does like to go balls to the wall early on, and maybe Fight Night's Finest is setting up that later fight, later round strategy of a more gassed Loco-P420.
Yeah, we got to look at the action here, and when you see action this hot in a round, the biggest thing for you to do in order to separate who's winning and who's losing is you got to determine who's being more effective in these exchanges. As we have a bit of technical difficulties taking place during the night, we do apologize for that, but I would like to say is that look at who's being a bit more effective, who's countering, who's doing the little things in order to get the edge in this fight. And I do have to say, I do believe that even though it was a good round for both of these men, I would like to say Fight Night's Finest was able to counter some of that aggression that Loco-P420 was giving off. He was able to go to the body a bit better at times, and also able to land that uppercut, right hook, that right uppercut, left hook combination a bit more.
Now, I have to apologize. Those technical difficulties were my fault. A couple of the ring girls saw me sitting here at ringside, decided to come sit on my lap, and I believe your name is Megan. Yes, it is. You accidentally stepped on one of the cables. So we're going to go back to Fight Night's Finest, because for about the next 15 seconds here, your boy Arachnidsoul is going to be a little bit occupied with two honeys on his lap.
Oh my God, the boy Steven, 2 Second Steven making his appearance here tonight. But let's talk about what's going to go on in this fifth round. I do believe the action will follow as hot as it was in round number 4. I think it will be even hotter in round number 5. Both of these men willing to throw, willing to bang, willing to go on the inside. And Loco-P420 trying to show off a bit of that stuff he practiced, trying to show off that footwork, trying to fight on the outside. Do you think this is the right strategy here for Loco tonight?
Oh, relax, honey. I'm doing commentary. Fight Night just threw it to me. Go over there. Get ready to hold up the ring card. It's going to be round number 6 soon. Fight Night, I have to agree with you. We are in round number 5 now, and like I said, the work rate was turned up in the last round. Look at round number 5. Both men going high, both men going low. The body shots, the head works, the punches in bunches. We are seeing the sweet science on display. Coming to you live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Once again, Fight Night's Finest and Arachnidsoul. Tweet this stream out. Fight Night, break down so far what has taken place here in round number 5.
Well, Loco, as he connects with that counter left hook, one of his signature punches, we're seeing a Loco-P420 that's on that back foot a lot more. Maybe he's not responding well to the pressure that Fight Night's Finest has been dealing with. Now, I will say this is a better Loco-P420 that we have seen in the past. Loco-P420 has been a fighter who's only been able to fight going forward. But I have to say, he's doing a pretty good job of being able to fight going forward, going backwards as well. And what I want to say here is that he needs to get the better of these exchanges in order to win these next few rounds. Both of these men exchanging leather center ring. Loco-P420 and Fight Night's Finest both going at a counter shot to the body. Landed moments ago. Fight Night's Finest tries to connect back downstairs to the body, following back upstairs. Loco-P420 missing some of those power shots. Fight Night's Finest with a double power shot. It was the body shot that set that up. It was the power right uppercut downstairs, followed by that lightning bolt of a power straight afterwards that dropped Loco-P420 at the end of round number 5. Will there be enough time? Better yet, will he be able to get up? He doesn't look too phased by this one, Arachnid. Maybe he's just waiting for that 8 count that most boxers do in boxing. And we're going to take a look here in a second. Yes, Loco-P420 will be able to will be able to beat the count and will be able to make it back to the corner safe by the bell.
Now, my way of thinking in a championship quality boxing match is that when you get dropped right before the closing bell, that encounter will be extremely fresh in the minds of the cornermen. I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez getting dropped 5, maybe 10 or 15 seconds before the closing bell in that round. The corner's gonna be in his ear. It's not the end of the world. He's okay. It was a gut shot. It was a 1-2 combination that slipped past the guard that got him. The corner's gonna instruct him on how not to have that happen again. Like I said before, I have Julio Cesar Chavez before up on the cards. Now it might be a different story. We enter round number 6. Fight Night. How can Fight Night's Finest capitalize on what just took place? And what should Loco-P420, aka Julio Cesar Chavez, do to make sure that the end of the last round does not take place again?
Well, if you think about it in football terms, if you watch football, you want to get to that red zone. And if Fight Night's Finest wants to score another knockdown, what he's going to need to do is move the chains and pick up those first downs. And how can he do that? He has to continue to pick his shots. He has to continue to invest in the body in order to take away the legs of Loco-P420, to stop him from advancing and to stop him from going backwards. If you take away the legs, if you move those chains, you will eventually get to the red zone. And where Fight Night's Finest wants Loco-P420 right now, up against those ropes. This way, he has Loco feeling confident that maybe he can throw back. Maybe he needs to move his head, and then maybe, just maybe, Fight Night's Finest can go right down the pipe with maybe another power straight and then come around the corner with those hooks in order to drop and possibly finish Loco-P420.
And Loco-P420 a little bit more defensive in this round. You've got to wonder if that knockdown at the end of round number 5 has played a little bit on the soul, a little bit on the ego of Loco-P420. Like I said, keeping his guard up, not quite with the same work rate we saw, not throwing as many punches as we saw in the first 5 rounds. Loco on the inside, Fight Night's Finest on the outside. Fight Night appears to be fighting on the outside due to his own will. We really haven't seen an instance of Loco-P420 forcing Fight Night's Finest into the corner or back first up against the ropes in that round. I believe Fight Night's Finest in round number 6 is fighting his round. It's going to be very interesting to see if Loco-P420 can come back in round number 7.
He had a great start, and that's a good way to do it, is to go downstairs to the body with that power left hook counterpunch. But Fight Night's Finest was able to go right back with a 3-piece combination. We see that side step right uppercut, jab to the body, and then he likes to take that straight either downstairs to the body or to the head. That time, he happened to take it downstairs to the body. But I want to sit back for a little bit, Arachnid, and just hear what this corner will instruct Loco-P420 to do in order to come back.
Keep circling. Don't stand in front of him. Listen, you need to mix your punches up. Throw more punches.
There you have your answer as we get ready for round number 7 with 10 seconds left in this timer. What we need to see apparently from Loco-P420 is 1, don't stand in front of Finest. Maybe he needs to take a walk around the park, take a walk around the block, and regain some of that stamina. And then they instructed him, once he does that, once Finest advances, throw those combinations, throw those punches, basically tell him to trust the conditioning training that he has done earlier in the week, earlier in the month when he was preparing for this fight. Arachnidsoul, what do you think Loco-P420 can do in order to get back into this fight?
Well, what Loco-P420 has to realize is that what he was trying to serve up earlier on in the earlier rounds might not work now. That was the feeling out process for Fight Night's Finest. Fight Night's Finest has now had 5, 6, as we are now in round number 7 rounds to scout what Loco-P420 is bringing to the table. Loco-P420 at this point needs to call on his experience. It's not good enough as a fighter to just have a plan A or a plan B. You gotta have that plan C. He's got to reach down into the back pocket of his trunks, pull out plan C, and bring out something that he has not used against Fight Night's Finest here tonight. As we continue this fight, it is becoming more and more volatile that Loco does go to whatever plan C is. Let's see if he can do just that.
Yeah, I gotta say now Finest is starting to really pick him apart. We're seeing that jab come out. We're seeing the straights land constantly. We're seeing Fight Night's Finest almost landing punches at will at this point. Loco-P420 looking sluggish, looking slow. That body work of Fight Night's Finest has paid off. We're seeing the damage also starting to take its toll on Loco-P420 as he begins to slow. Those punches don't have the same snap in it. He doesn't have the same rhythm. He does not have the same flow. If he was a break dancer, he will not be able to get that same pop whenever he tries to pop a lock in the ring here tonight. Well, we got to take a look here, Arachnid, at what it is that Loco-P420 could have done to possibly preserve some stamina. But we'll do that after this commercial break as we get to the end of round number 7. We are back from commercial break, and we now take a look at arachnidsoul's scorecard. 63 to 68. It's been all finest since that filling out process. Arachnid, take it away.
I do have the boy James Lights Out Tony up by 5 points. Now let's keep in mind, this is an 8-round fight. Like I've said before, this is not over. We know from earlier on that Julio Cesar Chavez Loco-P420 does have what it takes to rock Fight Night's Finest. Let's see if he has what it takes to drop Fight Night's Finest.
Wait a minute. He just got dropped. It was a 5-punch combination, following up with that left uppercut, right hook combination. Some refer to it as the white feint, but I refer to it as somebody please teach that man some defense as he meets the canvas for the second time here tonight.
It was an amazing combination. I was just talking about, and we'll see here. Yes, he is able to answer the 10 count. I was just talking about what Chavez needed to do, and I feel like maybe Fight Night's Finest corner was listening to me. Fight Night's Finest now coming into this round, 5 points up. Just scored a knockdown. It is more desperate. It is more desperation time right now for Loco-P420 than at any other point. The light is fading. It is time to go into that 10th gear.
Dropped again. This time in with that left uppercut and get your chin check as he meet the canvas for the 3rd time tonight and the 2nd time in this round. It's not even about him surviving at this point. You got to think about his health, and maybe he just might want to stay down, Arachnid.
Well, at this point, Loco's got to think about either throwing the towel in or just getting out of this round. He was able to answer the count. We saw some great southpaw shots there from Fight Night's Finest. The left uppercuts. He's been setting up the body work all night. You do see Loco a little bit more gassed now. You can hear it in the shots. You can hear it when he's moving around. Fight Night's Finest just might be able to even put this thing away in this round, but do not count out the man, the Mexican warrior, Los Guerrero, Loco-P420.
Right now, Loco-P420 does not need to be exchanging. Yes, we all like a great fighter who has heart. Wait a minute, he's got rocked again. Fight Night's Finest will he will try to capitalize on it, and he does with that left hook. Get cold clock as he meets the canvas for the 4th time tonight. Arachnid, it's 3 knockdowns. If we were in California, he would have been out of here. But Loco-P420 once again has to try to answer the count.
He's going to try to answer that count, but in my opinion, Killer Kenta Kobashi is damn near coming to the ring, giving him that burning lariat. I do not think he will be able to do it, and surprisingly, he does. Call the action, Fight Night.
There it is. We can't call no more action, Arachnid. We are going to the corners. Let's lay out and listen.
Just go for the head. Knock him out. It's done. You have to keep moving forward. Get close and throw some punches.
Well, that's the advice James Tony Corner has given him. Go for the knockout. Finish the job. Right now, he wants to be that point guard like Derrick Rose, getting into the paint and dunking the ball into the basket and finish the job. But Loco-P420 has other plans. He's going out like a warrior. He's going out like the Guerrero that he is. And he's going straight for Fight Night's Finest. He backed him up against the ropes, and Finest almost willingly stayed there. Now it's time for him to capitalize on all this pressure that he's putting on him.
Well, I got to think in this round, it is Julio Cesar Chavez. It is Loco-P420 showing that Guerrero spirit, that warrior spirit, that fighting spirit. And there he goes. It was a combination dropping Julio Cesar Chavez. It was the left hook. You're going to see Fight Night's Finest here on the replay. Right straight that time. Down goes Loco-P420. I do not believe he will be able to get up and answer that count. What an awesome opening contest we have presented to you here live from Atlantic City. Fight Night's Finest YouTube channel. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment in the chat room. That is it. There is the 10 count. Loco could not answer it. And your boy, Fight Night's Finest, fighting out of Brooklyn, NYC, has been successful here tonight on the live stream.
catching a knockout victory. It was the counter left hook that set up that shot, followed by the straight right hand, wrapped down the pipe. Let's go ahead in a few moments and take a look at Arachnid's scorecard, his finishing scorecard, as we get the official details here tonight.
And we're going to take a look at that momentarily. It should be clear to anyone watching at home. 68-79 in favor of your victor, Fight Night's Finest.
Yeah, we'll take a look here in a second at these CompuBox numbers, these Showtime stats, and our vision is Finest stats. There it is, 41% landed for James Toney, 36% for Julio Cesar Chavez. We're going to take a break here in order to honor Loco-P420's great experience. Take a look at this montage.
Yeah. It's Mr. Young. Reporting live. Yeah, okay, riding through my city like Batman. The cat skin, got about $1 million in these black pants. My flow can make a paralegic mother tap dancing, me taking an L. Tell me what is that chance? Light up a L, put it in the air slow, and I don't even smoke. I just love the smell, bro. Shout out to all my that be winning. My life is a movie, another happy ending. Smashing Benzes, block the haters through my Prada lenses. On my way to the top with a couple of my friends. And if you look, this is how great look. He's searching for his baby mama, but I got her Facebook. And if life is a gamble, my dice stay shook. And I just keep it calm and let the bass push. Word to my moms, I'm a state crook. I just deliver bombs, cow lace hooks.
Just sit back and watch me bounce, making money till it's cars. Somewhere I will never fall. I'm a winner. I know you niggas so mad. I'm winning every day. I'm too fly, I'm too fresh. I can't lose, I can't lose. I'm too fly, I'm too fresh.
Yeah, yo. Know we bout to blow, young is never out the loop. Every time you see me, fresh J's hopping out the coop. Yeah, boy, bout the dough, you ain't without the loot. Gotta feed my family, so it in and out the booth. Best round, hands down, ain't even an argument. Keep a semi-auto, smoking like a parliament. Every time you hear me, I come back with some harder. If it got to do with money, nigga, I'm a part of it. I'm a winner. Just sit back and watch me ball. Diamond studded Audemars. Dropped 100 on the car. I'm a winner. You better believe the hype. Everything to the right. Bitch, I'm with my life. And we do the damn thing. Cause money ain't a thing. Bad give me brains. Getting blunted in the range. And she don't get no dinner. 10 minutes and I'm in her. Far from a loser. Nah, baby, I'm a
winner. Just sit back and watch me bounce, making money till it's cars. Somewhere I will never fall. I'm a winner. I know you niggas so mad. I'm winning every day. I'm too fly, I'm too fresh. I can't lose, I can't lose. I'm too fly, I'm too fresh. I can't lose, I can't lose. And baby, I'm a winner. I'm winning every day. Always on the come up. See me getting paid. All we do is play. Winning ain't a fake. See me sitting pretty in a phantom on blades. Phantom on blades. Phantom on blades.
Phantom on blades.
You sitting pretty in a phantom on blades.
First off, about to burst off. She know she f***ing with a winner, so she take her shirt off. Winning is a hobby. I'm always with a dime piece, and when I'm on tour, them just waiting in the lobby. Yes, I'm that nice. I balled in my past life, dished a couple assists, so you know my stats nice. And on the mic, I go harder than a fag fight. I win, all I do is win.
Just sit back and watch me bounce, making money till it's cars. Somewhere I will never fall.
Two beats, bitch.
Arachnid, will you get Megan off your lap? We got to get back on the air in just a few moments. We need to get things together, all right?
I'm sorry about that. She's still here. She's standing on the cable. Megan, Jillian, Francine, Dawn. Okay, there we go.
We are live. Once again, this is your main event matchup. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Oscar De La Hoya. Fight Night's Finest versus Dave the Rip One. And there he is, the Rip One, making his way down to the ring. Sugar Ray Leonard Davedarippedone head-to-head record, 912 wins with 803 losses. Now, I know most people take a look at that record and think this man is a bum. This man is not worthy to be in this ring here tonight. But I gotta let you guys know, this man is one of the best, if not the best, boxer on this game. He's done so much for the community. He's a respected member of the community, and he should not be underestimated. Now let's take a look here at his opponent. FightNightsFinest, 321 wins, 96 losses. The Golden Boy making his way down to the ring here tonight. The head of Golden Boy Promotions, who puts on some of the best, if not the best, boxing cards on Showtime Sports. We're going to go to the ring here in just a few moments to take another look at both of these fighters. There's Sugar Ray Leonard looking extremely confident, relaxed, talking to the crowd, talking to his corner, and letting people know that he is the fan favorite in the ring here tonight. And FightNightsFinest, as usual, always looking confident, looking relaxed, looking ready to go to work, and feeling calm and focused. We're going to go to the referee's instructions here in just a moment. Look at both of these men as they meet up center ring. We are experiencing some technical difficulties, so if you see some screen tearing, I do apologize as both men make it back to their corner.
You once again, and for the final time tonight, hear that opening bell. FightNightsFinest, joined in the booth by yours truly, arachnidsoul, passionate, intellectual, voracious, and loving boxing and combat sports as always. You see the Mexican hero, my favorite boxer of all time, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, going up against Davedarippedone, aka Sugar Ray Leonard. And let me tell you something, when you're in Mexico, when you're in Southern California, or where you're right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where yours truly, arachnidsoul, grew up, you will never, ever be the fan favorite when you're in the ring with Oscar De La Hoya, a man not from Vegas, but a legend in the Silver State. FightNightsFinest opening round right now. How have you seen this thing so far?
This fill out process right now is just exactly what you expect from both of these men here tonight. Both of these men have so much respect for each other. It's almost contagious. Every time they step into the ring, both men can just congratulate each other on what a great job they done. But Davedarippedone is getting the better of these exchanges. He is landing that jab with such efficiency. And Finest looking a bit lost in this opening filling out process.
Well, I mean, as hot as the action has been so far tonight, the action will heat up. It's going to get as hot inside the building as it is outside here tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada, not far from the Strip. Here on the canvas of UNLV at the Thomas & Mack Center, we are seeing the Golden Boy throwing some punches and bunches, sticking and moving. We're seeing a very similar strategy from Sugar Ray Leonard, aka Davedarippedone. This has actually been a very aggressive opening round as we go to the remaining 3 seconds in round number 1.
It's been an aggressive opening round, but it's been done so smart. Both of these men willing to trade the in and the outside because both of these men can bang on the inside. Both of these men are a jack of all trades. They can counter well. They go to the body with great efficiency. They go to the head with such thunder and lightning that it will make storm clouds separate. And most importantly, both of these men have a smart boxing IQ to be able to switch and adjust at any given time. I will have to say this though, given Sugar Ray Leonard's past of being able to outbox many opponents on the outside, whether it's Marvin Hagler in those late great rounds, or whether it was against Roberto Duran in their second fight where Duran actually quit, I do believe as long as Davedarippedone, aka Sugar Ray Leonard, has the outside, he will have the advantage tonight. What we're going to need to see here from Oscar De La Hoya is what he did against Floyd Mayweather. Get that left hook rolling, whether it's to the head or to the body, and look for the straight right hand down the pipe and apply pressure. That should be the game man for, that should be the game plan for both of these men here tonight.
Well, I was just about to say, I actually remember attending this building not many years ago. It was a hot New Year's Eve, and yes, I said a hot New Year's Eve, if you can imagine that, here in the Mojave Desert. It was New Year's Eve. It was a Metallica concert. Much like tonight, the building was jam-packed. standing room only. The difference that night was that everyone in attendance was doing their own headbanging. What we are seeing tonight is these two men exchanging the fists, going to the body, going to the head. We talked about how aggressive round number 1 was. We are seeing an even more aggressive style from both of these amazing competitors here in round number 2. The body work, the head work, the head banging. The only difference is I'm not seeing a bunch of black t-shirts out in the crowd. An amazing second round. Let's continue here into the final minute and 10 seconds.
And Davedarippedone is cracking Fight Night's Finest with that signature right hook. Let's talk about some of the things that Davedarippedone brings to the ring here tonight. He brings that counter signature hook downstairs to the body, and Sugar Ray Leonard in general has always been a fighter with a great right hook and a great right uppercut. Those will be the key to victory here tonight for Davedarippedone, and we know he favors that jab to the body followed by that right uppercut upstairs to the head. That will be cracking back the chin of Oscar De La Hoya. And De La Hoya right now trying to be like an NBA player and get himself in the paint. He might want to be like Shaq and throw a couple of elbows and try to make Davedarippedone uncomfortable on the outside.
Well, you talk about Shaq throwing free throws. Yes, that does make him very uncomfortable. Shaq would sweat more on the free throw line than I believe these two well-conditioned fighters will sweat here tonight in the Mojave Desert, even if this thing goes the distance. I want to talk real briefly about Davedarippedone. There's so many people who play this game, and they'll play that 90, that 95 overall fighter all the time. Davedarippedone mixes things up. He will play with fighters in the 90s. He will also go down. He'll fight with an areola. He'll fight with a butterbean. So he knows what it's like to be the underdog in a fight. So when he gets an encounter like this, where he's matched up with a fighter of equal stature, I think it just makes Davedarippedone that much stronger. But let's see if the experience, the technique, the understanding of the sweet science from one Fight Night's Finest can see him through to that victorious pasture here tonight in sunny Las Vegas.
Well, it's going to be up for Fight Night's Finest to try to get out of this pace, because I think right now Davedarippedone's standing at a pace that he cannot deal with, and he is being outboxed, he's being outworked, and most importantly, he's being outclassed here in the ring tonight. Davedarippedone looking oh so elegantly on the outside with that stiff left jab, and there goes that counter shot downstairs to the body that Davedarippedone is known for. Davedarippedone, one of the fighters left on the game who still uses head movement so effectively. But let's talk about the weaknesses of both of these fighters here tonight before we break to commercial break after round number 3. Davedarippedone has been known to have some conditioning problems when it comes down late, and Fight Night's Finest tends to stand in front of his opponent too long after throwing a combination and wait for that receipt as if he just purchased something from the store. And right now Davedarippedone, with the quicker, the faster hands, is being able to outbox Finest on the inside.
Fans, we will be back. We're taking one more commercial break. Tweet the stream out. Fight Night's Finest in Seoul. Stay with us.
Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
We are back from commercial break, and we will now take a look at arachnidsoul's scorecard.
We saw that I do have Sugar Ray Leonard up by 3 points. Like I said in the first match here tonight, it's still early on. It's only round number 4, and we're actually seeing Fight Night's Finest, in my opinion, winning round number 4 so far. It's early on, but it goes to show you that Fight Night's Finest can close that gap and can come back and still has the chance to not only get ahead on my scorecards, but hell, this early on, he's still got a chance to win the fight outright by knockout.
Like his favorite fighter, James Toney, Fight Night's Finest is a man who's known to rally behind after being behind into those later rounds for those sweaty comebacks, as we saw from our commercial break youtube.com/Sakuraba, who has royalties towards that trademark term, the sweaty comeback. We will ask that you take a look at all of our sponsors in the description here tonight, whether it was Loco-P420, whether it was Red Eye Jedi, whether it's the man that you see across the ring with that white and red trunks in the ring tonight, Davedarippedone, or even some fellow sponsors that we'll see a bit later on as we break to commercial. Therefore, we will need to see the action continue in this round.
Well, once again, Megan, the ring girl, making her way over here, winking at me. Megan, do you hear this guy? Do you hear Fight Night's Finest trying to instigate? I said earlier on that Oscar De La Hoya was my favorite boxer of all time. Now you've got Fight Night's Finest coming in. He's got to point out that James Lights Out Tony was his favorite boxer, just to try to be aggressive, just to try to get in my face. But don't worry about the action here at the announce table. Think about the action going on in this ring. I talked about how De La Hoya needed to and would be able to come back in this round. I believe he has done just that.
Yeah, I see him starting to fall off towards the remaining minutes of the round, but Davedarippedone is working ever so hard to get that done. The counter signature shots downstairs to the body is crippling Finest on his way to the inside, and he is paying for every moment with every shot.
You see Oscar De La Hoya there getting a little bit of water, getting a little bit of ice, getting a little bit of advice in the corner. The same is going on in the corner of Sugar Ray Leonard. As you see that ring girl, don't get jealous, Megan. I'm just looking at the monitor, doing my job. We enter round number 5. Let's see how this thing plays out. Both men at this point have probably finished their feeling out process. Let's see what they've learned, and let's see how they will proceed accordingly from this point on.
Well, it seems like Davedarippedone would like to bring the pressure this round. He's going on towards the inside and taking away that outside advantage that Fight Night's Finest has captured in many of his matches. But the question will be, will Finest be able to utilize his outside skills in order to get back in this fight, as we are in round number 5, as we reach that 2-minute mark? It's up to Fight Night's Finest to try to get something rolling, to get that engine revving like we are in the Daytona 500.
I mean, what we've really seen is in the early rounds, it was Davedarippedone ever so slightly dominating. We did see a little bit of an aggressive comeback from Fight Night's Finest, but Dave has taken this fight back over. The burden of winning is now greater than ever on Fight Night's Finest. Wait a minute, he rocked. Sugar Ray Leonard that time was the right straight. Here's the combination. Sugar Ray with the helmet up. And once again, it's another right uppercut. Down goes Davedarippedone. We saw the left uppercut. It slipped through and punched the guard. We saw the punch there. It was a right hook to the rib cage. Oscar De La Hoya in Las Vegas, Nevada has just dropped Sugar Ray Leonard.
So that is the first knockdown of the fight, and usually between these two, a knockdown can take away confidence to any fighter. But right now, we have to worry about the confidence of Davedarippedone. Will he be able to continue to dominate this fight? I think it was a mistake for him to try to come onto the inside in the beginning of this round. We are experiencing some technical difficulties, and we ask that you do stay with it, as it would eventually clear itself out. Finest now looking for that power straight hand again, ends up paying the price with a signature body shot downstairs from the rip one. Now, we talked about stamina management earlier. Fight Night's Finest is one of those fighters who don't get gassed often, but you got to think with a fighter who works downstairs to the body like Davedarippedone, and with the work rate and him also being in front of Davedarippedone for the most part here tonight, do you think his condition... Wait a minute, the left uppercut saved by the bell. I gotta go back to the initial question, Arachnid. Do you think the conditioning of Fight Night's Finest, Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy, will stay with him tonight?
Well, I mean, conditioning is one thing. Technique is another thing. Yes, Fight Night's Finest does have the technique. We're going to have to wait and see if the conditioning does stay with him. But I mean, a fighter with great conditioning without technique is just a 12, maybe 10-round punching bag. We're going to talk about Davedarippedone momentarily. A lot of fans who are kind of casual boxing fans will ask the question, why go to the body when you can go to the head? The truth of the matter is, when you go down to the body, you're taking away a guy's ability to breathe. If he can't breathe, he can't move his legs. If he can't move his legs and plant his feet, he can't bring that scientific, that centrifugal force up his body and get the power behind his punches. Very smart to work the body. We're seeing it from both fighters as we continue here in round number 6.
We got to look at the body work that's going from both men. You mentioned those hooks downstairs to the body, but now we're seeing the same thing from FightNightsFinest, starting to work the body even more. His game plan has always been to mix him up, but right now he seems to be favoring those combinations downstairs to the body just a little bit more. Like I said, we are experiencing a bit of technical difficulties with Megan on Arachnid's lap, so we do apologize for any screen tearing that you will see.
Now, once again, trying to instigate. You talked about how James Toney's your favorite fighter. Now you're calling out my favorite ring girl, Megan, maybe my potential future wife. You need to focus on the match. You need to think about this action. YouTube.com/FightNightsFinest. Tweet the stream out. It, once again, is your co-host, your color analysis of Arachnidsoul in the booth with FightNightsFinest. De La Hoya now throwing the rights and lefts. Once again, Megan, get off that cable as we now see Davedarippedone going back to the body. The rights and the left straights. Great body work in this round. Why have these two fighters decided to go so much to the body?
Well, the reason for that is that both of these men have good conditioning, but Davedarippedone might be doing it in order to keep FightNightsFinest from Davedarippedone might be doing it to have FightNightsFinest tired along with him in these later parts of the round. We are extremely sorry for the technical difficulties that came in round number 6, but I can promise you that the action was immense and that Davedarippedone once again got the better of the exchanges towards the end of that round. FightNightsFinest now trying to box in the center of the ring. We saw him earlier on in the fight try to use the outside. We see him trying to get into that paint, try to get inside that kitchen of Davedarippedone also earlier in the fight. So now we're seeing the adjustment from FightNightsFinest as he continues to favor those hooks downstairs to the body.
Both guys trying to stick and move. We're seeing more of that in this round than any previous round. They're trying to throw those combinations, and not just a 1 or a 1-2, but we're seeing 4-punch combination attempts there, and then guys backing up. We're seeing the parrying. We're seeing the head movement. We're seeing two guys who know not to put their hands in their pockets. They're keeping the helmets up. We're seeing really smart boxing. We are seeing the sweet science at its finest displayed here tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada, in round number 7 of a potential 12. Fight night. What do you think was the switch up? What do you think the cornermen told both of these fighters coming into round number 7 that has made them switch up their style, their game plan somewhat?
Well, I'm thinking that, first of all, in Davedarippedone's corner, they're trying to give him advice in order to keep the advantage and to keep Fight Night from getting back into this fight. And we're seeing it from Davedarippedone as he takes a more aggressive style here in this round. We saw multiple shots landing for Davedarippedone while FightNightsFinest was up against those ropes. Now, FightNightsFinest known as a technically sound defensive fighter, but right now we are seeing the holes in that guard. We are seeing him getting poked like a needle in the haystack whenever you enter in it to find one. And right now, Davedarippedone doing an excellent job of boxing and counterpunching on the outside. Finest trying to apply the pressure, but he is being unsuccessful. We're going to break to commercial break in order to try to fix some of these ring technical difficulties. Stay with us. We are back from commercial break, and in that commercial break, you saw the knees, you saw the kicks, and you saw the punches for one relapse, youtube.com/relapse. But what you need to take a look at the ring is why arachnidsoul has his scorecard the way he does, because it's been the jab, the right uppercut, and the right hook that has had success for Davedarippedone here tonight.
Well, I mean, we talk about that jab. You just brought it up. You guys saw my scorecard. I do have Davedarippedone 68 to Fight Night's Finest 64. Dave up 4 points. When we talk about the jab, a very under-respected punch in boxing. It's the signature punch of Muhammad Ali. It's also the punch that I feel that Buster Douglas used to break the guard, to break down Iron Mike Tyson, that time in the Tokyo Dome when he beat him for the World Championship. It's that left jab. You use it to keep your opponent at bay, and then you do whatever you want with the right hand. We are seeing Davedarippedone has done his homework on Fight Night's Finest. Beautiful jab work, beautiful boxing on display here tonight.
Yeah, you talked about fighters who had great jabs. George Foreman was a fighter who liked to pick his shots and place his shots so carefully. And he was able to do that because that stiff left jab that he was able to knock many fighters out with was able to set up that power straight right down the middle, or even the right hook. We've seen that with Sonny Liston, a very under-respected fighter, just due to the fact that he got embarrassed by Muhammad Ali. But Sonny Liston is not the greatest. Is the greatest, if not considered by many to be the greatest jabber of all times. Larry Holmes, the same thing. There's so many great fighters out there who use that jab in order to set up their offense, and it's been no different in this ring here tonight.
And one thing I need to bring up at this point in round number 8 is the footwork. This entire round of Oscar De La Hoya of Fight Night's Finest. The best footwork I've seen from Oscar De La Hoya here tonight. When we talk about footwork, we got to talk about strong jaws, about strong chins. You talk about a guy like Oscar De La Hoya, his entire career known for his speed, known for his footwork. We've seen that on display here tonight. But then you can talk about a guy like Rocky Marciano, like to plant his feet. Not the best footwork. A lot of people would criticize him on that footwork, but he had the great jaw. He didn't need it. Oscar De La Hoya does not have that jaw. He's got to stick and move. He's got to use the footwork. And we are seeing Fight Night's Finest, a.k.a. Oscar De La Hoya, before in round number 8, currently in round number 9, using the footwork and using the combinations. A great return for Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah, so far I think the corner has finally got to him. The message has been sent and it has been received. It's one of these messages that's letting Fight Night's Finest know that it is time to stop playing games, that it is time for you to switch things up and come with an adjustment that will get you to the victory in this match, whether it's a decision win or it's by way of knockout. We need to see an adjustment from Finest, and it has been made. The question is, will the receipt from Davedarippedone be cashed in order to get back that product in order to win this fight?
It's been very interesting to see what's gone on here tonight. That opening bout, that amazing bout. I thought nothing could top it, but I believe these two fine boxers, these two gentlemen have in tonight's feature encounter. Oscar De La Hoya, almost like a man reinvigorated. This is not the same fighter we saw in the earlier rounds. Oscar De La Hoya coming back, the footwork, the combinations. We see Dave backing up. That right uppercut did pass the guard. Dave returned the favor. Both men going upstairs, not as much body work, and then we see that straight to the gut. Great combinations, great punches. De La Hoya, a.k.a. Fight Night's Finest, does rock and does drop. Davedarippedone. Down goes Sugar Ray. It was that power right down the middle. Caught Sugar Ray on the button. And Sugar Ray then ate that left jab like we've talked about. Let's see if he can get up. Let's see if he can answer the count.
It's like a bullet coming straight out the chamber that was able to drop. One Davedarippedone for the second time here tonight. That's 2 knockdowns for Fight Night's Finest. 1 in the 5th and now 1 in the 9th. 10 seconds left in the round. It seems like Finest will continue to take his time instead of trying to go out of, instead of trying to go for the knockout. There we go to the corner now. We need to listen out for just a quick second.
Are you all right? I need you to keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Don't worry now, all right? I need you to focus. Keep your hands up and keep working that jab.
So that's the advice from the corner. Work the jab, keep the hands up, and keep those feet moving. We're going to need to see that footwork, and there, as instructed, is that stiff left jab.
I got to think that Davedarippedone. I've actually talked to him. One of his favorite fighters is Butterbean. He's used to using Butterbean. Obviously, with Butterbean, you don't expect the speed. You don't expect the footwork. I've got to wonder if Davedarippedone is very comfortable with that kind of stand in one place, you know, parry, bob and weave, but at the same time bring the power shots. And maybe a guy like FightNightsFinest, who likes to use James Lights Out Tony, who likes to use the lighter fighters most of the time, is more used to the footwork. It's going to be very interesting as we continue in round number 10 to see what factor the guys that these two boxers usually select plays in the remainder of this championship quality fight.
Yeah, we're seeing it even at this point with the knockdown being scored. We see De La Hoya starting to favor that left hook, using his signature and best punch in order to try to get the job done tonight, in order to try to get Davedarippedone out of here. But I gotta say, Davedarippedone is boxing a beautiful round in the 10th and starting to make a major comeback. Possibly, but here comes the receipt from Finest. Power straight downstairs to the middle, and now we're seeing the exchanges. Both of these men trying to trade with each other, and Finest walking them down, not able to land a lot of these shots. Sugar Ray with that double left uppercut is trying to put Finest in check. Here comes the combinations from Finest, trying to work downstairs to the body and then to the head. Not successful. He was able to land a few shots there. Here comes the double hooks upstairs. Finest is throwing on the onslaught. Davedarippedone trying to throw back. Power left hook came out and rocked Davedarippedone. He's hurt, he's tired, and he's not getting the best of this exchange. Finest turning the hell up in this round.
I mean, what a great round this has been. Fight Night's Finest coming back. We go to the closing bell. Fight Night, once again, give us some analysis.
Right after this commercial break.
You girls and guys go anywhere. It's your host, arachnidsoul. Intellectual, voracious, and passionate about gaming as always. A fresh, positive face on YouTube. My channel features secret stash, hidden video game gems, retro gameplays, gaming news, honest reviews, commentaries, interviews, and the best sim wrestling on YouTube. Please take 2 to 3 minutes and check me out.
You asked for that analysis, but first let's take a look at Arachnid's scorecard. 94 to 94. Arachnid, why do you have it this way?
I mean, let's face it, it's been a very even encounter. And when I say that, I don't mean both guys have been even in every single round. I mean, we've seen some rounds for De La Hoya. We've seen some rounds also for Sugar Ray. These guys, in my opinion, if I had to score it right now, I would give it that 94-94 like you saw on the scorecard. If this fight ended right now, it would be a draw.
Now we take a look at the action that's been going on. I think the big adjustment from Finest has been his conditioning. I think now he's able to use those volume punches to great success. In rounds number 9 and round number 8, we saw Finest on the outside, outworking and outboxing, and with that stiff left jab in order to keep him out. We are sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll be back in a second. Here we are. We're back with the action. We are sorry about the technical difficulties. Megan, get the hell off that court. And FightNightsFinest is trying to get Davedarippedone the hell out of here with that power left hook, as it did connect with some authority. The power straight downstairs to the body also connect. We are still looking at the action. I can assure you from ringside that the action is hot, that it is delivering to your expectations as we now give it to Rack. Wait a minute. Right uppercut comes through. There comes the bullet out of the chamber. Straight right hand. Down the pipe. Down goes Davedarippedone.
You see, that's what happens, Fight Night's Finest, when you take your eye off the monitor, when you take your eye off the screen to look at the ring girl, to look at the girl sitting on my lap, Megan. You miss calling one of the most amazing combinations we've seen tonight, Oscar De La Hoya. And we saw the boy, Sugar Ray Leonard, going into the previous round. It was 94-94. At this point, obviously, I'm giving this fight to Oscar De La Hoya. Let's see if Davedarippedone, let's see if Sugar Ray Leonard can come back, can score that knockdown, can tie the points up, and can take this into a 12th and final round.
Even though this is pleasure time for arachnidsoul, he is incorrect. I did not miscall that straight right hand that landed the knockdown that came right down the middle. But we need to talk about the action that's going on in the ring with 7 seconds left. Will Davedarippedone be able to hold on? Will De La Hoya secure the win by way of knockout or by decision? We need to see the knockout from Davedarippedone if he wants to win. Finest has it on point. We go to the 12th round and we go to the one intellectual arachnidsoul.
It is the 12th round. It is the feature round of the feature fight here tonight on Fight Night. Here tonight, Megan. Get off my lap and stop touching that. Here tonight on Fight Night's Finest live stream, De La Hoya, aka Fight Night's Finest, Sugar Ray Leonard, aka Davedarippedone. It is a make or break round for both fighters, but I believe more so for Davedarippedone after round number 11. Fight Night, do you believe this thing will go the distance?
I don't think it will go the distance. We're seeing a very tired Davedarippedone. He was able to connect with the counter left uppercut, but Oscar De La Hoya is walking through these punches. I don't think he's affected that much at all by any of these shots, and we're seeing the progress here. De La Hoya trying to walk him down for those ropes. Here comes the exchange in the middle of the ring. Double left hook does not connect, but here comes Finest with the right uppercut left hook. Here comes the three-piece combination that followed that one, and now he has him against the ropes. He has him where he wants him. There comes the combination. Not enough to get the job done. Davedarippedone fighting back. Left hook, left uppercut. Both of them connected. Trying to put Finest back in his place. But we're going to need to see that power shot from Finest in order to catch the knockdown and possibly secure the victory. Davedarippedone still boxing beautifully, but I don't think it's enough to get the job done. Here comes the left hook and get cold clocked by that left hook. Sugar Ray Leonard goes down, and I can tell you right now, even though this is a replay, he's motionless in the ring right now. Will he be able to beat the count? That's the huge question here. He's starting to get to that vertical base. We see Davedarippedone struggling. Gets both gloves off the canvas. He almost gets up. He falls over. That's going to be it. Time's up. 10 seconds. The ref counts him out. Fight Night's Finest, your victor by 12. Round knockout, an epic sweaty comeback.
It has been an amazing night of fights. There you see the scorecard. I'm arachnidsoul. It's been your host, Fight Night's Finest. Join us next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Good night.